Hey everyone, welcome to my next video. I suppose it's been, I think, about a week since I had a video come out. But this one is all about makeup and how I do things for myself, and I'll try to give some pointers that helped me and maybe it'll help you. So let's go. Keep in mind that what I'm doing is based on the last year, let's say, of trial and error, and for the most part it was something I could kind of do pretty regularly, and I got quicker and quicker at it. So don't be surprised if you try any of these and they don't work out right away. It takes time, it takes practice. I definitely was very bad at makeup when I first started. So you're not alone. Don't worry about being like a professional right away. I am certainly not a professional. I basically do, and what I'll show in this video is roughly what I do on a regular basis, and then because I'm actually going out tonight to see some friends, I might add a little bit afterwards. I'll also share with you some of the products that I use. Again, I haven't tried a lot of varying types. I kind of found what worked for me to start and went with that. Makeup can be expensive, especially off the bat where you're not quite sure what will work. I think as you get more used to makeup, I think you slowly find you could be at the store and you'll see something and you can know right away, or with a little bit of thought, whether that'll work for you or not. Say it's a color or a style or something like that. But so yeah, I hope some of the products, like if they're within your budget, feel free to go out and buy them. So one thing I do is sometimes, just to help keep my hair out of my face when I'm doing makeup, is I put it up. So let's do that now. Okay, the first thing I do usually is put foundation on my face. One thing to keep to note is that when you are using makeup, try to make sure your skin is fairly moisturized, because when you're covering your face, your skin with product, it's harder for your skin to breathe, to sweat, so it'll dry out quicker. So keeping your skin moisturized and not, like, if it's really dry and cracky before you're putting on makeup, definitely put some cream on. Maybe wait till it absorbs through your skin and then do your makeup. So the foundation that I use is Clinique. I was actually really lucky because I found this one really quickly because my ex actually used it herself. Now, it might take a little bit for you to find your natural skin tone. This one just happened to be really, really close, or at least it works for me really well. So what I do is I basically just take a little bit off the out of it and put it on this type of brush here. I'm not really sure. Let's see. This is a foundation brush 47 from Sephora. So I just put a little on like that and then apply it where I want to. Now I'm focusing more on my around my mouth, and then I'll probably have it come up a little bit into the cheek because I'm planning to put a little bit of blush on too. And to close it off, I put some under my eyes because the dark circles sometimes can kind of, if you're putting a lot of makeup on, I want to make it consistent. So I'll show you that afterwards, but basically for that, because I don't really have a smaller brush that I use for foundation, I usually just end up using my finger, dab it in, and then spread it around how I want to. So just kind of dab it on where you want to go. There will be still some foundation, some product left on the brush. So after you kind of smooth this in, you can kind of blend it all around to make sure that it blends with your skin tone and the skin that doesn't have any foundation on, rather than have like a crisp line where the color might be slightly off. So as I said, I just take my finger and just kind of go off the cap, honestly. There's always some there because it's a messy product. This is actually a liquid foundation, in case I didn't mention that. I find that it goes on really well and smooth, and you don't have to worry about it really coming off that easily. So again, these are pretty basic techniques that I've kind of come up with a little bit myself after trial and error. You may find that if you have a brush that can do this, go for it. I use my finger because I'm too lazy to probably go out and buy a brush just to do that specific spot. And I find my finger, I can control it really easily, especially around the eyelid. So once that's done, I usually put on the blush next just because I'm already working on my face. Let's continue. So I use this, it's called Hey Jealousy number 17, which is kind of like a pink blush. It's this color right here. It might be kind of hard to see with the camera. Let's see, open it up. There, it's like that. So the brush I use for this one is Pro Blending Brush 27 by Sephora, and it looks like that. So what I do is basically just 1, 2, 3 on there. I have a little bit. I don't need a lot. This blush will last me forever because of that. And all I do is, if you've never found like kind of the apple of your cheek, I think it's called, smile like this. And these points right here is where your cheek pushes up your skin. So what I do is I just do that quickly, find that spot and dab once and once, and then blend from there. I take off the residual so I don't have too much on the brush. There will be still a little bit left. And all I do is I take this brush and just smooth it around, try to get it back and just spread it around. Make sure that it's a bigger spot than where I just put it. But don't go too close to your nose. Move sort of away from the nose. So that's what that looks like afterwards. Now I'm not done, because it may look a little bit weird. So the next, what I do is I actually take my foundation brush again, because it has a little bit of foundation probably left within the bristles, not Brussels. Anyways, so I take that and then I blend it, similar direction as what I just mentioned, away from the nose, kind of towards my ear, and kind of up a little bit too. And what I want to do is I want to do this until I basically don't see like the doll look anymore, but I can still see some of the red left in there. So, as I said, I kind of blended in the blush. It's kind of hard to see with the shadow. I'll show you at the end. But basically, there's a little bit of a pink undertone still there from the blush, but in general, it's been blended with the foundation, so it doesn't stand out too much. So the next thing I do is the eyes. Now, what I like to use, I find works really well, is this product, which is it's called a colorful shadow and liner. So it's kind of like an eyeshadow and an eyeliner at the same time, and it looks kind of like a crayon. So it's this one right here. I have two colors. This is a purple. I also like to use the blue one from time to time, which is this one right here. So the blue is called Marine 13, and this one is Violet, the purple one. Both Sephora. I generally stick to Sephora because when I walk into Sephora, there are tons of different products. Typically the cheapest of those at Sephora, I think, is Sephora, and honestly their stuff works really well for me, so I'll stick there for a while. At some point maybe I'll branch out a little bit, but here we are. This is a little bit not too sharp, so what I want to do is I take my sharpener, and it's kind of like sharpening a pencil. I just want to make sure I get a nice crisp edge like that. Doesn't have to be like really sharp. All I'm looking for is to get a little bit of a line that's defined that I can use. So I kind of go about 2/3 of the way away from my tear duct and move towards the outer of my eye. So I'll show you what I mean by that in the first eye. So I don't want to go in too much because it'll be a little bit extreme to do the whole eye. So what I do now is I take my actual felt tipped eyeliner tool, which is not Sephora. This one is Maybelline. It's called Master Precise, and just the black one. So it's this one right here. So what the tip looks like is that it's really sharp. It's felt, so it's soft. But what I do is I'll start in the same spot a little bit over where my eyeliner that I just put on finished, and like try to create a nice like tapered end to it towards my tear duct, and then move away, follow the same line, try to get into the eyelashes a little bit to try to so I don't see too much skin between the two lines. So let's do that. So that's what this looks like now. So as you can see, it blends pretty well with my eyelash. If I lift my lid up, I guess you can see like there is still, I don't really do the water line, and what I mean by that is the part of your lid that contacts, that's right against your eyeball. I try not to do that too often other than when I'm getting really dressed up, because, or like doing some sort of like photography modeling kind of thing, because it's a little bit annoying to put on. It's not my favorite. General look, I don't really care to do that kind of thing. That's really the gist of the eyeliner. I'm going to do my other eye now, and then we'll do some mascara. So I got both eyes done there. Now I usually do this kind of before my eyeliner, and I forgot. But I take this thing, which looks like a torture device. It's actually an eyelash curler. So there's a rubber piece here that, so you kind of fit it up. So if this is your eyeball, you kind of fit it up like this onto your eyelash, and without pinching your eyelid, which may happen, but you'll notice it pretty quick, and then you can leave the pressure off. You go up to the eyelash, so if that's the eyelash there, you kind of fit it over top, and then squeeze on it. Not that hard, but you want to try to, so the eyelashes will curl up like that. So do that. This can take a little bit of getting used to. I kind of just started doing it a little more recently, because at first I didn't really feel the need, but yeah, it's not that scary once you get used to it. So all you do is you squeeze it, and then it'll kind of just bring them up. Now the reason I usually do that before is because I don't want to mess up the eyeliner in case it got caught. So then the last is just mascara. This one's L'Oreal Voluminous Original. It's the first one I got. I don't really know any better. So yeah. I was told, and I'm still getting used to mascara, I don't usually wear it a lot. For work I typically don't put it on, but because I'm going out tonight, and it is the evening at night, I find that going a little bit darker and more on your eyes actually helps quite a lot. So you take your applicator here, and what I do is if these are the eyelashes here, you want to go into them. So into them like that, and I kind of want to go on an angle. So like this, on an angle away, because that'll help drag them through the eyelashes a little bit better. you want the product to stick to the hairs. So if you go up too much, sometimes you might miss them. But this will get much more on and it'll look a little bit better, I think. Now play with this because it's it can take some getting used to for sure. The trick obviously here is to not hit your eye. It might happen, but try to start so that you make sure you're at the end of your eyelash, and as you get more comfortable you can get closer and closer to the eyelid itself. And that's almost about it. I don't usually do anything for my eyebrows other than shape them with plucking, like as I showed you in my hair care video. The last thing I sometimes do, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do it tonight, I'll probably decide after this video, is put on some lip stain. If you're curious about lip stain, I'll try to do a video where I actually use it. Similar to a lot of makeup, just put it on in moderation and yeah, practice, because you're gonna screw up, and it's gonna be a learning lesson. The point is that you realize maybe what you did wrong and then correct it, whether that means completely starting over or making the best of it. The last thing I do for makeup is I use this is basically a setting spray. I kind of just came into the habit of using it all the time because I don't want my makeup to run. A lot of this stuff is waterproof, but this just helps it makes it extra waterproof. So it's this one right here. So it's really good if you're going out, especially in the summer where it can be hot. So it's just a spray. I do a couple sprays just to make sure that I get everything. Close my eyes, don't get it in your eyes, read the instructions, and yeah, just like this. I won't show it now because I'm going out, but when you're ready to take everything off, the setting spray actually does a pretty good job sometimes at not making your makeup come off. So what I do in that case is I take things like these pads here. They're really cheap. There's lots of them. I can usually use one to get away with it, but two is usually more than comfortable. And what I use is Neutrogena's oil-free eye makeup remover here. I find that this one's really good. It's a little bit pricier, but it does a really good job for the minimal amount. So for this one here, it's a two-part, it's like an oil with something underneath, I'm not really sure. It's actually meant for waterproof mascara mostly, but it's great for everything. So all you gotta do is just shake it up to make sure you mix the components with inside. They will separate eventually after like a couple minutes. And then all I do is when I have the cap undone, I just take my pad like so, invert like that, get enough on there if I need to do it twice, and then just start rubbing. And that's really the gist of it. Rub until, close your eye, make sure you don't get it in your eye. It's just oil mostly, so it's not going to be really harmful, but you definitely don't want to get too much in your eye if you can avoid it. I didn't do any, oh, I got some eyeliner there, so that'll happen occasionally. I have deep set eyes and my brow skin likes to come over my eye. So all I do is I take my finger, whether I need to wet it or not, and I just kind of rub it. If I have to use some saliva or something too, that works. Just want to get rid of that. That'll kind of happen mostly at the start, while the makeup's kind of still setting. So when I first put it on, sometimes I check in the mirror a couple times just to make sure that it's not there. Yeah, that's about it. This is a pretty basic look for what I go for. You might find your own look, but again, practice makes perfect. You'll figure out things that work for you that maybe don't work for other people, or you might find that some of the things I do don't work for you. So I challenge you to kind of come up with your own techniques as well. So have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye!